Hi friends, I'm Ethan Sawyer, the college essay guy, and I'm so happy to partner with SCOIR on this little video. So this is basically, these are my favorite personal statement brainstorming exercises. And I've basically been spending a lot of my time since 2003 helping students generate personal statement ideas and thinking about how to write great personal statements. And last year, I looked through about 300 past essays, and I was like, how are students getting to their topics reliably? And it was through these 7, actually there are 8 brainstorming exercises, which will only take you about 20 minutes or so, that got them to their topic. So what I want you to do is I want you to focus in, put on headphones if you need to, find somewhere quiet, and give me 25 minutes of your focused attention right now. And chances are you're gonna have not just one, but several different personal statement topic ideas. And I'll share with you at the end how each of these different little exercises is gonna help you find your topic. All right, let's do this. Ready? All right, let's do this. So this first exercise is gonna take about 3 minutes, and it's called the values exercise. And it's gonna set the stage for all of our work together. So the work on the personal statement, but also all of your work on your college application. And it basically works like this. So below this video, you'll find a link to the values exercise, or you can see it here. If it's too small here, use the link below. And what I want you to do is I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. I'm gonna time you. There's my timer. And I want you to see if you can pick your top 10 values for today. Now, if you're a teacher watching this or a counselor or parent, try this because it's actually kind of fun. But 2 minutes, what are your top 10 values from this list? And of course, if something is not listed and you want to write it in, that's fine too. 2 minutes, top 10 values, go. You got about a minute left. All right, time's up. I want you to now take your top 10 values, and if you need to pause and spend another half minute finding them, it's fine. But I want you to take your top 10, and in 30 seconds, I want you to now identify your top 5 values. So 30 seconds, of those 10, now choose 5, go. All right. So now, of those 5, I'm gonna give you 10 seconds, and I want you to actually pick your top 3. And if this is getting harder, that's good. That means you're actually doing the exercise. So top 3 values of those 5, go. You got them? All right, you probably know what I'm gonna say next, right? What's your number one value for today? Doesn't need to speak for you for all space and time, just for today. Which value speaks to you most? And circle it, star it, bold it, whatever you need to do. All right. Pause on the values exercise. We're going to move to the next one, but you're going to be keeping the values in mind because it's going to relate to pretty much everything we do in this process. So this exercise I'm going to do with you now, it's called the I love exercise. And it pretty much works like this. I'm going to demonstrate it and then I'm going to let you do it. So my name's Ethan and I love good lighting. I love the color blue of this shirt. I love, what else do I love? I love clean water. I love when the water is like the perfect temperature. I love a good book. I love a great conversation with friends that like goes late into the night. I love games. I love basketball. I love shooting free throws on the court when I'm by myself. I love a pen that writes really well. I love not knowing what I'm going to say next. I love when people make fun of themselves. I love chess videos on YouTube. I love really good Thai food. I love green papaya salad. I love speaking to people in Spanish. Oh, that's my time. All right. So set a timer, your turn. For a minute, I want you to just randomly make a list of things that you love. Don't think about it too much. If you don't know what you want to say, just riff. All right. 1 minute. What do you love? 3, 2, 1, go. All right, time's up. So next exercise, and don't worry, I'm going to connect this all to personal statements in just a little bit. Just go with me on this. So the next one it's called I know. And I want you to make a list of all the things that you know a lot about. Not that like, oh, you are the expert on, but like things that you could just go on and on about. So like, I know a lot about college essays. I know a lot about college basketball. I know a lot about games. I know a lot about the way voice and the way that the voice works. I know a lot about accents and silly voices. I know a lot about, you see where I'm going with this? So again, don't overthink this. Just make a list of as many things as you can think about that you know a lot about. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, time's up. And again, if you want to pause the video and take another half minute to add a couple more things, great, but don't take like an hour on this. Just another half minute if you want it. All right, next exercise. So this is called the essence objects exercise. And there's a longer version of this, which you can find on YouTube, but the short version that we're going to do right now is going to take like 3 or 4 minutes, and it works like this. So I want you to imagine a box. And in this box is a set of what we're going to call essence objects. And your essence objects are basically tangible things that you can look at or point to that are representative of memories, moments, experiences, relationships in your life. So for example, an essence object for me, let's see if I have one. I do. It's this pen. It used to be a green pen, But now I've switched to Uniball Vision Fine pens 0.7. This pen represents the like how much words mean to me. Language is pretty important in my life, and it has been since I was like, I'd say like 17. So this pen represents my love of language and of words. I might also, and I'm not wearing them right now, but I have these mala beads that represent my sense of my spirituality and groundedness and my reminder to slow down. Another essence object for me, more beads, is this bracelet, or actually it was a big necklace that my friends made for my wife and I at my daughter's baby shower. And a lot of them are hand painted by my friends, and it sort of represents, each bead represents like some new, member, some different member of our community and how they came together and have come together to support my wife and I in raising our daughter. Hashtag it takes a village. So each one of these represents a different side of me, right? Like I might also put barbecue sauce in there because I just really love barbecue sauce. There's no like deep meaning with it. So they don't have to have like super deep meanings, but see if you can write down a series of essence objects that connects to like deeper values, things that you really think are important. And as you're trying to sort of brainstorm these, you could actually look back at your values list that you've created and think, okay, what's a specific, like concrete, tangible thing that could actually represent that? So let's do a little timer for 3 minutes and see if you can name what are some of your essence objects. I'll give you some ideas. It could be, for example, a food that reminds you of your family. Or maybe it's an object that reminds you of one of your family members, or one of the people who raised you. Or maybe think of something that you're really good at, something that you're skilled in. What essence object could represent that skill or that quality? Another one is like, what's something that's like a home for you, a place where you feel at home? What object could represent that home? Or maybe you face challenges in your life. What's an object that could represent a challenge or multiple challenges you faced? When you think about the quality that you possess that helps you to get through challenges, what object represents that? Like maybe it's your creativity. Well, what object represents creativity for you? Or maybe it's like your ability to be adaptable. Like what object represents that ability? What are some objects just in your room? Maybe if you're in your room right now, just look around. What are some objects that potentially relate to different parts of you? What's something that you love to do? What's an object that represents that? If you have a career in mind, something that you want to be or do in the future, what essence object could represent that? Is there anything that you collect? Don't have to explain why. Just write it down. What's the object, or what are the objects that you like to collect? What are some identities that you have? Or what's an identity you have? What object could represent that identity or those identities? Okay. So that was 3 minutes. Again, if you want to pause the video and take a little more time to write down a couple more essence objects, great. If you got to 5, good. If you got to 10, super duper achievement unlocked. Okay, next I'm going to ask you a series of random questions. And you don't have to answer all of them. Answer whichever ones feel interesting or meaningful to you. You'll also find these below this video if you want to, grab them. But I'm just going to ask you some random questions and just do your best to answer. And we'll spend, again, like 2 minutes on this. So my first question is like, what's your actual superpower? Is it listening? Is it recognizing other people's needs? What are you really great at? What's a story that you love to tell? Or like, what's a tradition that's been passed down in your family? What's a class that you'd love to take, even if no such class existed? Or what's a class that you'd love to teach? Because maybe the class doesn't exist, or maybe you've never seen it. What's a secret that you have? Something that maybe you don't tell a lot of people? Or answer this question: if you really knew me, you would know blank. What's something that keeps you up at night? What do you spend a lot of time thinking about or worrying about? So below this video, you'll find some more questions. You can dip into those if you want, but I want to move on to the next exercise. All right, so the next one's called the careers exercise. And the way it works is if you've got a career in mind, something that you'd like to be or do in the future, I want you to basically write it down. And then I want you to go back to the values list. And I want you to identify, let's say, 4 to 7 different qualities or values that you need to possess in order to be great in this career. So for example, if you were thinking about being an entrepreneur, you look at the values list and be like, oh, okay, I need to be creative, communication skills are really important, etc. So basically go back to that list and find as many values as you can in about a minute that would connect to this particular career. Now, if you don't have a particular career in mind, don't worry. Maybe this isn't the exercise for you. You can just go back to a previous exercise, or you can fast forward by about a minute, because that's how long we're going to spend on this. So again, what values would be important to you in X career? You might notice that there are some of those core values that you identified. You don't have to include only those, but you maybe find some overlap. Or maybe you're realizing that right now. All right, great. So the fifth one is called the identities exercise. And it basically works like this. I want you to make a list of all of the different ways that you identify based on your interests, based on your geography, based on how you were born, okay, based on things that you're good at. So make a list. If you're, just to give you some examples, I'm a reader. I'm a part of the reader community. I'm a jazz lover. I love jazz. Maybe you identify as queer, or you have a national identity. So as many ways as you can think of. One way to think about this is like, yeah, think of the communities that you're a part of, whether, again, based on things that you're good at or things that you just love to do. And for about a minute, list as many identities as you can. All right, time's up on that one. So for this sixth one, I want you to identify as many homes as you can. So where do you find that you are in your zone? You're in your element, you're in flow. For me, I'm at home when I'm writing something. I'm also at home when I'm teaching, when I'm doing this. I'm at home when I'm teaching my daughter how to ride her bike. So for you, what are the different homes that you're part of? Spend about a minute and see if you can identify as many homes as you can think of. Go. If you're having trouble with this one, think of all the different places that you just love to be based on the things that you love to do or how you spend your time. All right, time's up. The seventh one is uncommon extracurricular activities. And you've maybe already listed some of these in the earlier exercises, but are there any things that you like to do that are like a little bit unusual, a little bit uncommon, things that other people don't do? Past students have written about things like beekeeping or making music. So what are some uncommon extracurricular activities that you have? Could be something super random. Anything come to mind? I'm not talking about common extracurricular activities. If it's a common instrument, a common, sport, those don't often make the best personal statement topics. I'm talking about those more unusual things. If you don't have any, it's okay. All right. So those are the exercises, and I want to share with you a little bit about how these become a personal statement. And I want to do it through a cool metaphor analogy from one of my favorite movies called Inside Out from Pixar. And if you haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend it. There's this moment when one of the main characters, Joy, is describing what it's like being inside this little girl's brain. So Riley, this girl, is basically inside the movie, and the characters inside her brain are the different emotions that she experiences. And Joy is talking about core memories. And core memories are these memories that are like happen to us early in life that basically set our path. And they create, in the movie, our islands of personality. So in the movie, for example, she's got Hockey Island because she's got early memories of playing hockey with her dad and mom, and that becomes a huge part of her life. It's a huge island of her personality. But then she's also got Honesty Island, which is like a core value of hers. Honesty is super important to her. So she's got Honesty Island. And then she's got Family Island, because that's a big part of her life. She's got Friendship Island, because that's a part of who she is. And so what I want you to do is I want you to spend a minute or so, and I want you to see if you can identify your islands of personality. What are the different sides of who you are? And it might help to just go back through your exercises and see what are the common themes that are coming up. So I'm going to pause and let you do that. See if you can come up with like 4 to 7 different islands. You can think about your extracurricular activities, again, the things that you love to do. It could be that one of your values is actually a full-on island to itself. It could be that one of your identities is an island. Like one of my islands would be like college essay guy. Another one of my islands would be like, dad or family island. I would also have basketball island. So pause the video if you need to see if you can come up with, again, 4 to 7 different islands of your personality. All right. So by this point, you may or may not know it, but you've got everything you need to write your personal statement. Because what I just walked you through are basically the 7 paths that are the most common paths that students use to write their personal statements. And they are, number 1, I love or I know. You could write your personal statement on something you either love or know a lot about. Number 2, you could actually use some of your essence objects to connect to lots of different sides of who you are. So one essence object could represent this island of your personality. Another essence object could represent another island of your personality. Number 3, you could use the skill or superpower path. So it could be that a particular skill, like listening, manifests in many different areas of your life, and that could be your whole personal statement. Or it could be that your essay is basically a series of skills and superpowers connected by some other common theme. Fourth, it could be that you choose the career personal statement path, where basically you write about a series of moments, experiences that have led you to realize that a particular career is the right one for you. The 5th potential path is what I call the identities path. It could be, for example, hey, I identify as Greek, and how you identify as Greek connects to different islands of your personality. Or it could be that your essay is basically a series of different identities, okay? And that could be your personal statement. 6th is what I call the home personal statement path. And this is like you could pick one home, like I find home in the weight room, or it could be that there are a bunch of different homes, right? A bunch of different places that you find that you're in your element, and that could become your personal statement path. And then the 7th one is it could be that something that you do that's a little bit more uncommon, like crocheting or baking bread, is a particular uncommon extracurricular activity that shows the different islands of your personality, okay? And that could be your path. So essentially what you're trying to do, big picture, is you're trying to demonstrate the skills, qualities, values, and interests that have made you who you are. And some of the ways to do it include these different paths. Any of these paths can work. No one path is better than the other. So now that you've done these exercises, you're probably wondering, okay, how does this actually turn into a personal statement? If you click the link below this video, I'll walk you through how that process goes.